All right, family. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for your patience. It will be worth it tonight. We're gonna have an amazing show. I want to thank every. Something was wrong with my original link, family. So you might have clicked on the original link, and then I made another. I took that down and I made another another video. So just for anybody that's a little confused, there was something wrong with the original link, so I had to hurry up and make another link for the show. But everybody's going to figure that out. We are now here. I want to welcome back to the show. This queen made the debut on the channel about a month ago. I think it was about a month ago. The show was fire. It was fire, and a lot of people enjoyed it on my end. I gotta ask Yaya how they enjoyed it on her end. But I want to welcome to the channel Yaya777. Welcome back. Welcome back.
Peace, Brother Rich. Thank you for having me. It's definitely an honor once again. And the people was feeling it for sure. They loved the show. So I got a lot of great feedback. They always love your show anyway, but they definitely loved it. So
E- Excellent, excellent. I got to listen. This topic, this topic right here tonight is one of the most important topics in the world when we're dealing with the affairs of the heart. Um, Quantum physics is catching up with what the ancients told us about the heart, and quantum physics just figured out that the heart is like 5,000 times more stronger than the brain electrically and magnetically and all that stuff. They're figuring out just how important how much of a technology this thing we call the heart is. It's way more than just a pump, as we were taught and when we were in elementary school and in the 80s and 90s and things like that. But I'm gonna tell you, Yaya, what's interesting and why I say this is the most important topic is because this is the most important technology in the avatar. But at that same time, when you got a good one and you know how to tap into your heart space,
yeah.
woo, they coming after you, Yaya. The narcissists, the gaslighters, the users, the abusers, the low frequency entities. I mean, when you got that heart space open, oh my God, they come after you.
Oh yes.
They come after you. So it throws a lot of people off, and a lot of people don't even see the attack coming until it's too late. The
That's
next thing you know, they just like, man, this shit. It almost seemed like the heart shouldn't be for this round for a lot of people. So we're gonna have a good discussion tonight because we can't just get rid of the best technology in our whole avatar. This right here, this is it right here, y'all. So with that being said, let me get into a quick video. Yaya, I got some Yaya's Instagram is popping. Y'all really got to follow this sister on Instagram, on TikTok. We're gonna get into that 1 second. But one of the videos that inspired this show tonight is from the great Bobby Hemmitt. So I want to start the show off while y'all, some people just figuring out that I changed the link. So I'm letting y'all load on in. But let's get to this quick clip, and then we're gonna get back with Yaya, and we gonna chop it up real quick, y'all. All right? This is Bobby Hemmitt, y'all.
People that you know, and especially the people that you know, especially you conscious people, your heart and your deeds and the way you treat other people on the frequency will be what you judge by. Now, the judging is not talking about a person that's standing before you saying we're going to cast you down into hell and all that. It's talking about a immediate judgment. Whereas you say to yourself, I wonder why I'm catching so much hell. Well, the question you should ask after that is, I wonder what kind of asshole I was a couple of weeks ago to somebody. It's the cause and effect. It ain't the karma that they're talking about that's going to be your soul in the future. No, it's stuff that you do right now. When it comes to conscious people or whatever. There's an apocalypse going on in the heart. So whenever some things is going wrong, you need to say, wait a minute, hold on. Who did I fuck over today? Because something ain't going right here. My car done broke down. The bill collector called him. You see what I'm saying? Then you got to, because it's accelerating. So if there's some stuff that's going on, it's your thoughts. It's not even to the point where, you might have not done anything physical, but you got a certain thought process that's fucked up, and it's spilling over into the physical realm. Right now. You see what I'm saying? See, the church was saying these things, but they muddled it and got you confused with all the Jesus stuff and all of that. We're not talking about that. We're talking about things because, see, what's happening is this. Your spiritual energy is rising to a certain level. So when it rises, it gives you the ability to have more power. So you also have the power of thought. You can think things into existence. Remember I was telling you back about 2-3 years ago, I would tell a lie, and the next day the lie come true. And was scaring the shit out of me. Because I was producing that. Well, on the other hand, because you have the ability to produce things, you also have the ability, when you think negative, you also produce that also. So the apocalypse that they talk about is an apocalypse of the heart. And in the book Theosophia, which is the text that the Papacy used, that's the stuff they're talking about, and that's some stuff that came out of ancient Kemet. You get this thing here?
All right. So I'm gonna play that one, and I want to play one. We're gonna start off with that, and I also want to play one, a fire clip Yaya posted on her Instagram, and we're gonna get this thing started. But we seasoning right now. We starting the meal right now, but we gonna start cooking real soon, y'all. So that's Bobby Hemmitt. Shout out to Serious Times Media, and I think Alchemist Goddess for posting that short clip. Let's get to Yaya's Instagram, and then we're going to start this show. It's going to be fire.
Mindful of those people always using the term.
You can hear it, Yaya?
As it pertains
Yeah,
to
I can hear it.
Sometimes I'm not going to lie, this is innocent. Again, those people always referring to us.
No, not that one. I'm sorry, y'all. Not that one. That's for later.
This is where the ones.
Okay.
Are we in the times of the great separation, or what I like to call the divine reversal? This is where the ones who led with their heart and got dragged for is standing on business now. Ones who led with their ego being ugly and nasty, they about to be humbled real quick. Ones who led with love, empathy, compassion. The ones who cried in silence. Ones who overextended themselves. The ones who prayed for folks who prayed on their downfall. Yeah, these the people that's getting upgraded in real time. Sensitivity in your heart was never a weakness. Think of it as like training. Led people like myself been on the battleground getting jumped. Do you hear me? But we still chose grace. We built for this shit. Meanwhile, y'all ego-driven ones, the ones who always want to manipulate, dominate, think you getting the last word, you about to realize just how much that strategy ain't gonna work because the frequency done shifted. Spirit does not care about how many followers one has, how loud your damn bark is, because that's all it is, a bark, or how many spells you think you know. What the universe is demanding right now is heart currency, something a lot of y'all lack. The universe is not looking for performance, not hustle, not smoke and mirrors, just heart. If you still got malicious intention, you better clean up your act, and I mean fast. If you think you can bypass soul work because you think you know how to read energy, which is mighty funny because you can't read yourself. If the energy not pure, the intention is gonna rot. This is what the great shift really is. The heart-led are rising. Ego-led are being set all the way down. What's wild is the roles is flipping so fast, people don't even realize the assignment change. Either gonna evolve or you're gonna get exposed. Ain't no in-between. Ego been loud for years. The heart is now taking the mic. You could get right or get left. That's what Spirit told me. Y'all let me know your thoughts in them comments. As always, peace, love, and light, and gratitude for watching. Told y'all.
All right. What? That was fire, y'all. Yo, Yaya, when you said hard currency, I said, oh shit. I said, I gotta do a show. I gotta call yo, you gotta have hard currency in this new times, family. Oh, that was a powerful clip, family. Make sure y'all save that clip and send it to anybody you love. What's your Instagram real quick, Yaya? What is it?
It's Yaya's world. It's Yaya's _world 777.
Indeed. How, Yaya? Let's start out, since I absolutely love that phrase, hard currency.
Yes.
Everybody knows when people want to get money, they get a job or they do something that provide a service that they could get paid for to get that fiat currency. Yaya, how does one, to start out with the show on this hard thing tonight and moving into the new paradigm with what you said and Bobby said, how does one get hard currency, Yaya?
Living and leading from the heart. Like literally everything you do comes from the heart. Versus ego, because like I was saying, a lot of people have been leading with ego, selfishness, thinking about themselves and not the collective, right? Just doing a lot of things to people who have been leading with the heart, talking down on the people that has been leading with their heart, who has been giving themselves literally. And that's the real currency. Energy is the real currency. So when we're talking about heart currency, is literally those people that will give you the shirt off their back. But then you have those ego driven people who don't care about any of that. They still do those type of people wrong. But what I was saying in the video was the scales have to balance now. And so everyone is being judged based off of heart currency. Are you leading with your heart, or are you leading with your ego, Satan, your mind? So yeah, they better get right and get that heart currency in check, because again, the real currency is your energy.
Indeed. What something that may be confusing for those who want to lead with their heart, yeah. And Bobby was talking about how you may treat people or who you fucked over. He was like,
Mhm.
you gotta ask yourself, who I fucked over today. That's what, that's how Bobby was talking. What can be, I mean, let me give you a real life scenario that can be confusing,
Mhm.
that somebody could get tricked up or they just don't know how to operate in this realm. Say you, yeah, say you're meditating, or you're doing something that you told your spirit you was going to engage in,
Mhm.
and you finally start to engage in it. You relax, you're doing what you do. Then somebody call you and say, yeah, I need a car ride. I need you. Can you come pick me up and take me somewhere? And you're like, and they're like, what you doing? You busy? And you're like, yeah, well, I'm just, doing stuff with, a little personal stuff with. Oh, well, you ain't doing that. Come take me somewhere real quick. Then you're like, no. They're like, yo, what, I thought you was like this good person, and I thought you was about helping people. They hit you with that game. I thought you was about helping people and shit. What's all that? You got all this conscious shit on Instagram. You're not going give me you're not gonna come pick me up and give me a ride. I can't. Yo, you fucked up. That's foul. Hang up the phone. Boom. Now you feel fucked up. Yeah. Based on that interaction, you feel guilt, but your spirit really wanted to be invested in yourself that night.
Right.
So you call a person back. All right, I'll take you. Now you neglect what you originally were supposed to do with spirit and with yourself, and you don't feel good after you did what's called a good act, but you
Yeah.
don't feel good at the end of the night.
Hmm.
Talk to me about that scenario, and what advice would you give to a person who continuously lives with guilt because somebody may say they're a bad person because they're not doing what they want them to do, which they consider good. Yeah. Real life scenario.
Okay, I love that. And
Yeah.
honestly, that's a part of programming. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
People start feeling that guilt because the real love is self love first.
Mm-hmm.
So anytime you do something, and I was just talking about this past weekend. Anytime you do something, we hear a lot about people selling their souls, right?
Right.
And when we think about it, we think about it in a Hollywood sense. We think about a back alley deal with a man with horns. You know what I'm saying? And
Mm-hmm.
people actually exchanging their soul in the
Mm-hmm.
industry. But the reality of it is, anytime you do something in exchange for something else, especially when you don't want to do it, that's you selling your soul. Because remember, your heart currency, your energy is the real currency. So by me saying no, that doesn't mean that I'm not leading from my heart. That just means that I respect and love me and putting me first. And that's okay. So for anybody who's dealing with that, who deals with any guilt, shame, or any of that, just remember, anytime you do something that you don't want to do, that you go against your spirit or your soul, that means you're disrespectful to yourself. And now you stepped out of that realm of self-love because you're trying to appease someone else. So
Mm-hmm.
you have to make sure that you're happy first. When you're doing things, make sure it is from the heart. Make
Mm-hmm.
sure it is something that you want to do. If
Mm-hmm.
it's not, then don't do it. Like, nobody should be able to put you in that position to make you feel any type of way. That is literally what programming did to us. We feel bad about things and we shouldn't. So put yourself first. That's the advice I'm always going to give to everybody. Put yourself first.
Excellent. You know, it's funny you say that. Wait, hold on, let me write something down real quick.
Mhm.
A brother told me, because a lot of people, when they get into the spiritual community, new age, whatever, all these terms,
Mhm.
fancy terms, one of the things that information that they come across is information about service to self versus service to others, and everybody immediately says, well, I'm a service to others type of person. I remember a brother told me a while ago that the best thing to be is a service to self, but not the externals, the ego self, the higher self. And
Right.
when you're a service to higher self first, then you could be a service to others. He was telling me, Rich, people got the formula wrong. They're doing it the wrong way. They're trying to be a service to others, and then they get depleted within 3 months or 3 years, and then they start to feel regret, and then they start to harbor animosity toward the same people that they wanted to help in the first place. So it's crazy, yeah. You can start out as the good guy and turn into the bad guy because you don't know about, the proper way to go about it. So talk to the people who may, started out with good intentions, but man, after the world done got to them, they just said, man, fuck all these mother effers. I done seen it happen over and over again. So can we
Right.
talk about that dynamic so people could avoid that happening to them?
Yeah, so this kind of goes back to what we was just talking about as far as putting yourself first and not feeling bad. Like
Yeah.
if just imagine if you started with that. So what happens is we don't lead with that, right? And so we always lead with we are the helpers. We are the people who are coming to rescue or save the day.
Mm.
I like to call it the Captain Save-A-Hole syndrome,
Oh
right?
man.
A
Oh
lot of
man.
people have that. And
Yeah.
a lot of it is because there are broken parts of them that they want to heal in other people. And
Mm.
so if
Mm.
I'm not completely healed, if I'm not tending to myself, if I'm not showing myself love,
Right.
how in the world can I give that to you? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So when we look at it in that way, it's the same concept of when people ask me, a lot of people ask me this question of like, yeah, how can you change the world? And I'm like, well, I could change myself, right? And then in turn, that will change the world. If enough people collectively work on themselves,
Mm.
focus on themselves, that's going to raise the vibration of the planet and, of course, the collective. So
Mm.
you have to focus on yourself, and not in a selfish way, like you were saying, but from the higher self aspect that makes the most sense. Like my higher self needs to be tended to, which means dealing
Mm.
with my traumas, my emotions, learning how to manage those,
Mm.
learning how to, manage these different energies that I come against every single day. Learning how to balance and alchemize and transmute. All of those things come into play. So that is what it looks like for me when it comes to tending to the higher self. And
Mm.
then I will learn how to deal with other people, learn how to help other people because I'm now healed in those areas. But if I'm not healed, I can't assist in any way. I need to work on me first.
Indeed. No, definitely, definitely. And of course, everybody, believes they have a good heart. Everybody wants to believe that. And
Mhm.
so if you ask somebody, do you have a good heart? Yeah, I got a good heart. I'm a good person. Yeah. What I want to ask you is if we're just analyzing the spiritual community, and one thing you mentioned in that clip was spells. Do you think and when you get into the occult and when you get into the esoteric community, that's the main thing people seem to be concerned with is spells. You got spells? I need some spells. I need some spells.
Right.
Do you think a good-hearted person, a person with a pure heart, would ever be concerned with a spell? Do you think spells and good-hearted people go together?
Absolutely. It just depends on the type of spell that we're talking about. So,
Mhm,
there's a lot of people that do spells for themselves, right? Just literally just manipulating or using the energies or the different elements. So
mhm,
that's what we're talking about when we come to spell work or energy work. But a lot of people, a lot of good hearted people do that. Like there's a lot of people in the community, such as hoodoo. We use the term, right hand versus left hand. So there are a lot of people that just work with their right hand doing spells. They don't use the left hand, which is more so the more devious work. So I do think it goes hand in hand. It just depends on what you're trying to do. What's your intentions with those spells?
right. Like if you want to put a spell on somebody, let's say a brother want a sister to like him or a sister want a brother to like him, so they want to do some spell work.
Uh,
Now, and that's something that became popular. People don't hear all about that. Like,
oh
what do you
man,
think? What do you
listen.
think that says about somebody?
That says you need to do a little bit more work on yourself because to me, if you feel like you have to do that to get somebody, that's showing a form of self disrespect and that you need to work on your self love because if somebody's not showing you the same thing that you are looking for, or what you feel like you deserve, then you shouldn't be doing any kind of spells to keep this person. And I'm gonna give you an example as to why. So let's just say somebody came to me for spell work. They want to get their ex back, right? Okay, I can tell them all day how to do this spell work, love spell jars, all those types of things, right? But now let's say you get this person back. You got to be careful what you ask for. You get this person back and now they beating you upside your head. Then what? You know what I'm saying? So you have to be very mindful, and you have to understand that there's a reason and a season for everything. So if this person is not in your life, if this person is not showing you the same energy, there's a reason. So you have to pay attention to that. So again, it goes back to self-love, because when you really pour into yourself and tend to your highest self, that wouldn't even be an issue. Because me, myself, I'm never going to do a love spell unless it's for myself, to lift myself up and my confidence. So yeah, I feel like there just needs to be a lot more work amongst self if you have to go that route.
No, definitely. No, definitely indeed. Why do you think Yaya, and I ask this question to a lot of people, and I love hearing the different perspectives with so much information on the internet? I mean, we used to dream of having this much information before. Now we have it. We have an overabundance of information. Why do you think the information a lot of speakers, they could recite it? It could be intellectual. It could reach their brain. But why do you think this information isn't reaching people's heart? Yeah. All this beautiful information that's out there.
They letting the ego get in the way. They letting the mind get in the way. A lot of people, they grabbing onto the information. They soul probably has the information, because you know how you plant seeds for people. And I know for me, like maybe a year or two later down the line, they come back with that same information I planted and they was rejecting. So I know a lot of time their soul grabs onto it, but their heart is not open to it, right? They don't remain open to the information because, again, the programming is so heavy. So I think that's why a lot of people reject it at first, but they soul still grabbing onto it no matter what. I say that about even the people who get angry. They come in the comments and they get real angry about certain things, especially because this is not something that was targeted to them personally and is bothering them, which lets me know that whatever I said triggered them in some way where their soul remembers this information. So I just feel like people need to open their hearts a little more, and open their minds as well to more information. But also with that comes guarding the heart as well, because you can't have it too open. When you hear the term "you too green," like that's in reference to your heart being too open, because green is the color of the heart chakra, so that's where that came from. But you can't leave your heart unguarded. So you got to be very mindful of that. And I spoke about that in that previous video. So yeah, I just think people need to open their minds, open their hearts, but also use discernment and keep it guarded.
Do you think, you mentioned color, do you think wearing a color that represents a particular frequency enhances that frequency more? So if we tap into the color green more and have more green in our house and wear more green clothing, do you think that would help open up the heart as well?
It's funny you say that. I believe that for sure. And to give you an example, this past weekend, I was doing a lot of work with myself, sitting with myself, doing some meditation before Quantum Fest. And I kept seeing, every time I closed my eyes, I kept seeing the color green. I know it was because a lot of it was me working on the heart chakra. So I do believe if you tap into certain colors, you wear certain colors, that's a form of manifestation. You set certain intentions, you light certain candles. It'll definitely bring in that abundance of whatever you're trying to receive. So tapping into that heart chakra, that's a must, especially right now. And like I said, I did that work, and yeah, I saw green prisms, green everything, like green little sparkles when I close my eyes. So yeah, tap into that color green, use those green candles, manifest whatever it is that you want, especially love and openness from the heart, but also protection.
Music is one of our biggest technologies. It's been the whole universe is music. It's a whole symphony happening in the universe. Everything vibrates at a certain frequency, and a certain frequency produces a certain sound. So literally everything is music that we are observing in a known universe. And one of the best, with that being said, one of the best, we talking about the heart and love, right? So one of the best was kind of interesting, yeah, one of the best R&B singers of all time. I mean, the man has a amazing catalog. One of the name of the songs is "Step in the Name of Love," but he was into some devious shit, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How do you think, how is how is somebody that's into such devious shit able to tap into such a frequency and produce some of the best love songs that we heard in the last 30 years? Yeah, that's some strange shit right there.
That's funny you said that, but honestly, it's because we have the ability to tap into either frequency. So they call it the light and the dark aspect.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, when he's probably tapping into his creativity,
Mm-hmm.
he is tapping into that love frequency, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then on the other hand, he also has things that he didn't work on as far as shadow work and the different traumas that he needed to heal. So that's still prevalent. Like, I've met a lot of people who I'm like, you see it in them, like they have the good in them, but they also are fighting those demons, or what we like to consider or call demons. So we have both things, duality, polarity, all those things come into play when it comes to those different energies and frequencies. And then also we got to look at that industry he was in. That says a lot within itself.
Indeed. No, definitely. And let me just remind y'all, Yaya will be at Stone Mountain this Saturday. So if you are coming to Stone Mountain, Yaya will be there. She will be present. She will be blessing us with her energy. So make sure y'all come through Stone Mountain. We are meeting at 5:44 in the morning at Stone Mountain. Yeah, it's gonna be lit. I'm glad you're gonna be there, Yaya. Yeah, have you ever climbed the mountain before?
Listen, I ain't gonna lie. Now I've been to the mountain, but I've been up on that little lift that bring you up.
Okay.
So this is gonna be my first time, but I'm excited. I
Oh,
cannot wait to be there with all of y'all. I know the energy gonna be so high, so I
listen,
can't
people,
wait.
yeah, people coming from all over the world,
Oh, I bet.
all over the world. I
Oh,
mean,
we gonna make some noise today.
it's gonna be amazing. It's gonna be amazing. Let's get into. I want to get into another clip from the sister Yaya from her Instagram and talk about something that a lot of us experience as well. And what's so good about this show is that they try to box when people with good hearts, they what they do is once they define you, they want to box you in. Now that they box you in, you think you have to live out those definitions that they set for you. So they be like, oh, well, you're good heart, you got to do this, you got to do this, you got to do that. So I want you to break out that prison that they try to put good-hearted people in, and let you know that you could define certain things on your own. Family, don't fall for the tricks, because
Right.
it's a lot of tricks out there. Let's get to this one right here. Speaking of tricks, let's get to this one right here. I think this is the right clip.
Are we in the
No, that's the other one. This one right here, family.
Be real mindful of those people always using the terms us and we as it pertains to your life. Sometimes I'm not gonna lie, this is innocent. Again, those people always referring to us and we when it comes to your life specifically. Pay attention to the ad. I know this firsthand because somebody tried it with me. Y'all heard the key word tried. Like I said, sometimes it's innocent, but other times it's a spiritual agreement being made without your knowledge. Of course, I'm gonna give you an example so we can connect these dots. Let's just say you talking to one of your homegirls and you telling them like, hey, I got this great opportunity coming up that has the potential to make me great amount of money, can travel, X, Y, and Z. Instead of them saying, congratulations, sis, I'm so proud of you, I'm happy for you, they say some shit like, yes, girl, we leveling up. It can't stop us. It's our time to shine. Oh, yes, we can all shine. Don't wait for me to tell you my success story for you to then want to shine. If you're not careful, you're going to start co-signing this energy that's not yours to carry. That's exactly how destiny swapping works. Be letting them folks energetically attach themselves to your timeline. They need to do their own damn work. You're going to start noticing shit like they only show up when your energy is high. Start mirroring your style, your lingo, your path. Always want to be attached to your hip because they sucking and draining your energy. Start acting like they have the same mission as you, but the fruit don't match the root. And they get real quiet when you shift into something they can't imitate. The moment you say, yeah, we got this, when spirit was only talking to you, you just signed a contract. And now your energy is being spiritually leased. Might I add, by somebody who is not ready to rise. Somebody who wants to pull you down. Somebody who wants what you have. Protect your eye. That's what I've learned, because not everybody saying we actually loves you. Some of them just want to walk into your prophecy wearing your energy as if it's theirs. Like I like to say, protect your neck, aka protect your assignment. Learn how to guard your heart. Speaking of the heart, you can catch me on Black Magic 363 tonight. I know we're going to have an impactful.
Yo, that is very, very important. What somebody said in the chat, she's sharper than a lot of folks. Yeah, that to catch on to that and to be able to articulate it the way you did, that's sharp. That's sharp. Uh,
Gratitude.
Destiny swapping. Wow, that concept and that what you just described has happened to me so many times just by individuals in the spiritual community. I
Mm-hmm.
go, yo, I'm about to do. Oh yeah, yo, we gonna be popping, my nigga. We gonna be. I be like, what? I be like, did he just say we or and just they just insert themselves,
Right.
and it's like once again, you like, how do I break this down to them? Like,
Mm-hmm.
no, I wasn't talking about us, but just that whole concept of destiny swapping. Could you explain further, elaborate to people about what you mean by destiny swapping?
So it's a concept of where you have people. Most of the times, it's people that's close to you, but not all the time. There's
Yeah.
sometimes who you don't even know of, that's watching you from afar, that's trying to destiny swap with you. But
Mhm.
most of the people are close to you, and so this is just a concept that people are trying to swap lives with you, so they want what you have, and not necessarily all the bad, because most of the people, they don't even think about the bad may come with it, because they only see your growth, your success, and that's what they want. And so they'll do any and everything to try to get what you have. So you have to watch them. You have to watch their language that they're using, how they're trying to like be so attached to you. It's a lot of subtle signs, and the funny thing is, a lot of times you see this early on. We just don't pay attention to it, or we try to brush it off because of our heart, right? Our heart get us in a lot of trouble, because your spirit will show you clear as day, and then you'll come behind and be like, nah, not them. Nah, they wouldn't do that. No, they would, and they did, and they already did, because your spirit already told you. So that's why when people say like the true colors was showing, no, the true colors been there, you just ignored it because of your heart. That's it. So people always show you who they are, you just have to believe them the first time. Like, I've heard my whole life, but I never really paid attention until now. So yeah, you guard your heart, because there are a lot of people out here close to you that want your life, like they want what you have, and not specifically even in a monetary sense, but just like the essence of who you are, like your soul, your life, the way people love you, the way people, connect with you. Some people want that. It doesn't always have to be monetary or materialistic things. This is more so soul essence, your light. And so when you was talking about earlier how we attract all these different energies towards us, especially when we are like, these people with these great hearts, yeah, we do attract people of every different light towards us, right? And
Mhm.
so you got to learn how to just listen, back up, and pay attention, because these people are sucking your energy more than likely. They want to talk to you all the time. They always want to, be close to you. Like, even leaning in on pictures, like I started noticing that as well. Like, just like how they lean in on pictures, like they're trying to overdo it. They over explain everything. And so you got to learn how to just listen,
Did Yaya just disappear on my end? Did can y'all see Yaya? Is that just uh peace Yaya? Can you hear me? Oh, Ars. Okay, okay. So it's not just me. All right. Yeah, that was good, right? Yeah, she'll be back. She got to log back in. Maybe her phone died. I think she was on the phone. Maybe her phone died, but give her a couple of minutes. But yo, that destiny swapping and what Yaya was breaking down. Here she go right here.
Okay,
Yaya.
I was trying to kick me off.
Oh man. All right, you good to go now. You good to go. You
Okay.
you was just dropping it on the destiny swapping and how people leaning in on the pictures and all that shit. You was
Oh
just talking
yeah,
about,
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, just pay attention to like all of these subtle or what you think is subtle because all of those things start to matter. And I'm just telling you, when I'm currently going through my situation, I'm starting to get flashbacks of everything. Like spirit is laying it out and showing me, like, I showed you here, I showed you here, I showed you here, and every time you ignored it, every single time you said, nah, they wouldn't, and they
Mm,
did. So a lot of times when we see this chaos erupting in our life around people, especially people that we love, the signs were there. The signs were there. You just didn't guard your heart.
mm,
So
mm, mm.
yeah, destiny swapping is real. um and it'll only work if you're not aware. So
Right.
if you're aware and you know how to guard yourself, no matter what they do, no matter how hard they try, no matter how many spells they think they know, no matter how much dark magic they do or what they call dark magic, it won't work because you aware and you're too powerful. But when you're vulnerable, when
Mm,
you're unaware, they can get you easily.
mm. What do you think? Yeah, yeah. And once again, fam, we having this conversation. The heart is the most sophisticated technology that we have in our entire avatar. It is how we communicate with the quantum field. It is how we manifest things. It's how we get information. It's how we relay information. I mean, it's absolutely like we should be studying information on the heart constantly, y'all. Our emotions, our feelings, all that stuff. So I definitely appreciate this conversation tonight with Yaya, and I hope y'all taking notes because this is some powerful, important stuff that is being discussed tonight. Yaya, I want to ask you, what is one of the signs for those? Because a lot, obviously, you're very intuitive. A lot of people are developing their intuition, they're understanding intuition, they're understanding when it's their spirit talking versus their ego talking, and they're learning to understand it currently. What's one of the things, if we're talking about the importance of the heart, and whether it's guarding it or meeting other heart-minded individuals with good heart currency, what's one of the things that you recognize as somebody who has a strong heart currency? Yeah, yeah. Like, what's one of the things you're like, oh, okay, that's
Yeah.
okay. They got a good heart currency. Like, what is it?
So for me, it's I literally pay attention to my body, my flow, my rhythm, how I feel around that
Mm,
person, right? So
mhm, mhm.
um I talked about this in a lot of my videos, pay attention to the signs that your body gives you as far as you might start sneezing a whole lot
Oh,
around certain people, you might start yawning a whole lot around
mhm,
certain people, and a lot of this is just an energy reset for your body. So anytime like you start sneezing a whole lot, your body is telling you this person's energy is affecting you in some kind of way. So it's up to you
mhm,
to determine, which with your discernment, in what way is that? Because not all the time is it bad, right?
mhm,
Like for instance, you may yawn around somebody who you're real comfortable with, like one your partner or somebody like that. You might yawn or get tired because you feel comfortable around them. But other times, your body might go into this mode where it feels like it needs to release this energy because that's what it's doing when we're yawning, because this other person's energy is affecting your energy in some kind of way negatively. So
mhm,
just pay attention to your body. Like for instance, the heart, like you said, the heart is very powerful. It holds all of our emotions, the trauma responses, everything, memories, all of that. So if my heart start being extra fast,
mhm,
I
mhm,
already know something is up. I listen to that immediately. So just like I said, paying attention to those signs that your body is always going to tell you what you need to know. It's just that a lot of people don't listen. Even when it comes to different pains, aches and pains in your body, that shows up as different emotional issues. For instance, back pain. A lot of times that's associated with a lot of financial issues or emotional issues, something with the emotions that you need to handle. If you have a lot of shoulder pain, especially if it's on the left side, because left side is linked to feminine intuitive energy. So if your left side shoulder pain is bothering you, that means you're carrying the weight of too many people. So it's,
mm,
just learning how to listen to your body, understanding what your body is telling you around certain individuals. That is how I govern and manage, heart frequency, and know if I'm vibing with somebody. Like immediately my body gonna tell me.
mm. Yeah, so that it's interesting you said that. When I was young, I was experiencing shoulder pain. So it's interesting you say that. The left side too. So it's
Yeah.
interesting you say that. And what's interesting with what you said, that's when I was my mother was sick, my grandmother was sick, my uncle. There was a
Mm.
lot of sick people that I had a lot of running around, a lot of things, a lot of responsibilities at a very early age at that
Right.
time. So now that I reminisce on that time period, what you're saying, wow, that's interesting. Very
Yeah,
interesting.
and also it's carrying the ancestral weight of of your family, so that makes sense too. That you have
Mm,
a lot going on with your family. So yeah,
mm,
like I said, the body is so not even just the heart, just the body overall
mm.
is so intricate and so sophisticated.
Yeah.
Like literally everything, moles, palms, everything tells a story on us. Everything, hair color. Um, all of that, like all of it literally is telling you a story. It's just that we haven't been taught how to decipher it. We haven't been taught, you know gray hair means a certain level of wisdom, or maybe yellow hair means that you have a lot of soul work to do because something is clogged in your energy. Like we
Mm,
haven't been taught these things. So when we learn energy, we learn how to work energy,
mm.
move energy. Things gonna shift for us, but we
Yeah.
have to tap back into that and stop being fearful of energy, because energy is everything, so it's nothing to fear.
Mhm. So you was talking in that first video I played of yours, you was talking about how people are being judged from their, I don't know, I think that was about, well, you was talking about the heart and how the people who led with ego, it ain't gonna be popping in this new paradigm. Um, talk to us about what's confusing, why wasn't the heart as successful in the last paradigm as it appears that it's going to be in a new paradigm? Like what the hell? Why is it at a period in this realm where the earth just don't seem to be as powerful as it once was in the golden era?
mm, that's that's interesting. For me, from my perspective, I think because the Earth's frequency is rising like
Mm,
so fast, we have
mm,
no choice but to rise with it.
mm.
And so if you're not vibrating on the frequency of where the Earth is or where the Earth is currently going,
Okay.
that's why I was saying those ego driven people, like they about to be sat down. Because I've been talking about this probably for over a year, and I know I've heard people even before I started speaking about it, how around this time a lot of people were going to start transitioning out of this realm, and it
Mm,
was because they don't match the frequency of where the earth is going. And I'm starting to see it, like a lot of people that I know and people that I know
mm,
like they're transitioning out of here and fast, like at a fast rapid rate. And so that has a lot to do with the fact that the frequency is rising. And you can either, so I've heard about I think Dolores Cannon, she talks about this. A lot of people in the spiritual community talk about the shift or the split,
yeah.
and how there's going to be two different worlds per se. So the
Mhm,
people who's been living in ego, they're going to be in that ego driven illusion filled world, whereas the people like myself and you with the heart led, us leading with our heart, we're going to be in a world of peace,
mhm,
of love, that vibration and frequency that we should have always been in. But due to the patriarchy and all the things that came along with that, of course, divine feminine has been suppressed. That energy, that's supposed to be amongst all of us, a lot of that is heart energy. And
mhm,
so if it's been suppressed, ego has been in the forefront. And
mhm,
so that's why I said things are shifting and it's happening so fast. People don't even know what's going on. One of the big things that I'm seeing is like a lot of what people call spiritual psychosis. A lot of people are unraveling, and I mean fast, spiraling out of control, you know, because the frequencies, like that's the only way that I can explain it. They're not matching the frequencies, so everything is being exposed, like they spiraling.
what would you say, Yaya, when you mentioned suppression? Um, what would you say was one of the main things that happened to people when they were young that closed their hearts? So,
Mm,
for us to, I have a son 6, my daughter's 7 months now.
mhm,
We have nephews, nieces. We have a lot of people that we're trying to teach. We don't want to make the same mistakes that was made to us, and we may not even know that we're making certain mistakes. But what's one of the main things you think that is causing people to close their heart space or their heart chakra. Yeah, when they're young.
The thing that comes to me the most when you just asked that question,
Yeah.
this one, this one bothers me so bad.
Oh.
Telling our children, especially our young, what we call so-called black boys, not to cry.
Ooh.
That's a big,
Ooh.
huge thing, especially amongst our community. I can only speak for
Yeah.
our community because that's the community I'm in. So amongst our community, that has been a huge factor because crying is a form of purging, and that is absolutely necessary. So you have a lot of people who have so much anger, resentment, hate, malice, all of that in their hearts, because all for the simple reason they have not cried, only because they've been taught and told crying makes you weak when it's actually the opposite. So I think that's a big hindrance in our community as far as, why a lot of people haven't been leading with their heart. There's a lot of anger and hate and resentment because they felt like, they had to be that way because that's what makes them strong. And so I think if we can eliminate that rhetoric out of our community, I think we will start to get somewhere. But I still hear this today. I was in Walmart probably like a couple months ago, and us, of course, as a mother and a father and their two children, this man literally told this boy, I'm on the other, no, we're actually outside in the parking lot. And he told this boy, shut that crying up, sound like a little bitch. Like, this is what he said. And this boy is all of like 8. When I tell you that made my skin crawl, because I can imagine what that will do to him as like a 19 years young boy, or, going into adulthood. Like, how is he going to show up? Because he's been taught and told at this early age that he can't cry, that makes him weak. So we have a lot of angry, not even just black men, but black women who feel like they had to be so strong they can't cry. And it's showing up in our communities now. You see it all on the internet now. Everybody on the internet angry, crashing out, going against one another, don't know how to get along. And that's a big part of it.
Yeah, that crying is a big part. And it's unfortunate because, like I said, the heart is so important, such an important piece of the puzzle. And a lot of brothers I know, when it comes, when you tapping into your visualization, you gotta feel that shit. You gotta, you gotta, and it's hard for a lot of people. They hear it, they hear people say it, they read it in books, but when it's time to actually do it, it's kind of hard to do. So I definitely, what would be what's something you will recommend parents engaging in with the young males, because that's a big problem with the whole tapping in, letting them know that emotions is healthy. What's something you will recommend for parents? Because I got a 6-year-old, so I'm listening to what you say. What would you recommend?
I mean, I recommend, first of all, I would start off like, even when they're watching shows, movies, have them tap into their feelings. Ask them how they feeling. Ask your son how you feel about this, especially if it's something like more on the emotional side. Ask him how he feel about it. Let him talk through it. If he want to cry through it, let him cry through it. And support him through that. And let him know and actually encourage it. Let him know, I want you to talk about things. I want you to release. I don't want you to hold these things in, because that's when it turns into other things. So, for me, I'm just straight up and honest with my girls. Like, I let them cry. Like, I want them to cry. Like, I don't make them feel bad for it. I cry in front of them. Like, I don't try to display something other than what I'm teaching them. So, I let them see me cry, and I let them see me get it together after that too. I just want to give the education as to why we should be doing these things. And I tell them, like, we move in energy, we releasing. Just imagine how you feel after you cry. Like, even think about when kids cry. Like, you know how they get in trouble, or they might get a whooping and they cry and they do that. Like that, like that's literally an energy release. That's releasing all that negative energy. So they keep doing it until their body fully resets. So now if you think about that from an emotional standpoint, that's you releasing that energy. And then once you do, you feel better. Like, you feel so much better. Your head might hurt a little bit after, because you've been doing a lot of crying, but After all that, you feel a lot better. So it's literally about moving the energy, and that's a big way to do that. And also, it's okay to show empathy, sympathy, compassion, all of those things, and that all comes with purging, crying.
No, indeed. Yo, the last time I'm not a big crier.
Hmm.
So I'm not just crying for any reason, but the
Right.
thing is, one of the things that got me, it came out of nowhere, yeah. This was when my son was first born. And I'm not a big movie person. So a
Hmm.
lot of movies that people seen, I never seen before. So I
Okay.
finally seen The Lion King. And when Mustafa got killed, it effed me up, yeah. I was like, yo, I started crying. My girl was like, you cried? I was like, oh my God. Yo, he's dead for real. He died. The Lion King. I don't know why it triggered me so much, but something about Mustafa dying in Lion King, it really messed me
Yeah, that
up.
was a tough one.
That messed me up. And it caught me. I'm like, am I crying for the Lion King? But yo, it got me. Oh man, it got me, y'all. It
It
got
pulled on your heartstrings. That's okay.
yeah. That it got. I don't know if because I just had a son, but
Yeah.
Mustafa dying, that got me, y'all. Oh
Yeah.
man,
You
that
ain't
was
you ain't alone. Trust me. I know it was a lot of brothers in there crying. They probably trying to hide it, but they was crying too.
that was a tough one. That was a tough one.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. One of the things, very great conversation. I want people to really, like I said, break out of that box, that bondage that they try to put people with good hearts in,
Hmm.
and define and trap us. So I'm glad we're having this conversation. I want to talk to you about. There was this study that they said people who curse are more honest than people who don't curse. Now, a lot of authenticity is this big movement that's happening now. Everybody's saying, you got to be authentic to really experience and tap into who you truly are. And if we're talking about people with a good heart and being boxed in, we are taught we don't say don't use certain words, or else that will take away. I'm gonna take away points from you being a good-hearted person if you use these words. Talk to me about what do you think about cursing, what we call cursing, swearing, honesty, and authenticity. Yeah.
I'm gonna just tell you like this. I'm a
Yeah.
cuss. Okay. So a lot of people say cursing, but I cuss. I don't curse. Because when we
Mm.
curse, now we talking about energy and all of that, right? We talking about
Yeah.
spells. But when we talking about cussing, that's just a little razzle dazzle for the words. You know what I'm saying? Like for the sentences. That ain't nothing. But so a lot of people take those words and try to, like you say, determine if you a good person or not. Just because I said shit, that makes me a bad person. But if somebody is saying bless you, you think that's a good thing, but that's actually a curse. So
Mm.
it's like you gotta understand what you're saying before you even try to judge somebody first and foremost,
Mm.
right? You can't judge somebody based off of if they cuss, not curse, cuss. But
Cuss.
if I'm cursing, right? Because a lot of people curse every single day and don't even realize it.
Mm.
Or you have those people who know that they're cursing, right? And they're doing it intentionally. So when
Mm.
it comes to all of that, I just say, do what you feel. Like do it, say whatever it is that you want to say. If you want to add some razzle dazzle to your word, aka cuss words, by all means. I love a cusser. Like I'm not about to just, sit and have a conversation and the cuss word ain't gonna slip out. It is. But that doesn't make me less of a good person, right? It's all about my intention and all of that. So even with the other words that I'm talking about, the curse words,
Mm.
a lot of people don't know that they're saying it, so that doesn't necessarily make them a bad person either.
Mm.
It just, they're not aware. So
Mm.
awareness is key, and that's why I always teach people, and I study etymology myself, because people had intentions that created those words, so we have to think about that. But then you also put your own intentions on those. So I like to know what I'm saying before I say it. But as far as cuss words, I'm gonna cuss.
Mm.
I'm gonna cuss. I'm just gonna tell y'all that. So,
Mm.
I'm. That doesn't, like I said, it doesn't make you less of a person. It doesn't make you a great person. It's literally all about heart currency. Where's your heart? Like, how does your heart? Do you lead with your heart? How do you make people feel? Are
Mm.
you cussing at them and making them feel a kind of way, because you know some people, they get offended by cussing.
Mm.
You know, but if you're doing something intentionally to hurt this person, then sure, maybe you're not a good person.
Mm.
But if you just cussing and that offends somebody and you're not specifically doing it or aiming it towards them, then that's a them problem. So
I want to talk to you about one of the things people say, yeah,
mhm.
when we talk about finding a mate and people inability to find a mate, they say they can't find somebody that matches their frequency. So I want to ask you, I'm wondering if we are defining frequency the wrong way. Let me give you an example. Yeah, let me give you an example real quick. So say you meet somebody and they are a good-hearted person, but in the middle of talking, like you meet somebody, yeah, in the middle of talking, the brother like, hold up, the brother busts out a cigarette. You like, oh shit, damn, he was just talking some damn, he smoked cigarette shit. Then y'all go out to dinner. He may eat, he may still eat, he may have got some lamb or some pork or something like that. And now an average person would say, damn, I thought this person was on my frequency. I can't F with them because they not on my frequency. I got to find somebody. I'm a vegan. I got to find somebody that's on my frequency. Now, if he was a great dude, great, good-hearted brother, deep down inside, would do anything for you, but he's smoking cigarettes and he still eat a little pork. Are we defining frequency wrong because the brother did match your frequency because you had a good heart and he had a good heart, but he just didn't do the same things you did, but his vibration was one and the same as yours. So a lot of people in the consciousness, they want somebody that does things they do. Pray to the God, I pray. Dress, I dress in dashikis. I want you to dress dashikis. I'm vegan. I want you to be eating vegan. And I find that we're not finding people that way. So I'm just curious. I'm asking, do you think we're defining frequency wrong and we're letting people who match our frequency go because they just go about life in a different way?
Oh, that's interesting. I do agree. I agree that people are using frequency wrong. I think they're using it in reference to preference.
Oh, okay. I couldn't think of the word. I'm like, I couldn't. I'm asking the question. That's the word I was looking for. Preference. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what they
Right.
prefer, right? But that doesn't mean that that's the frequency, because like you said, these are two people that have good hearts.
Yeah.
That's the frequency right there. We talking about the heart currency and
Right.
the frequency that we on. A lot of people are missing the mark with they person, or letting they person go because they prefer certain things, and a lot of this is more so ego led, physical material world type of things, versus the higher self and what the higher self resonates with. Because I know I probably let a couple good people go
Mhm.
back in the day when I was in ego, just
Mm.
based off of preference. Like, you hear a lot of people, "Oh, I don't like light skin, or I don't like dark skin, or that's preference. But are you missing your person because you prefer certain things? Like, if we're looking at energy and vibration, none of that matters.
Mm.
Like, none of that should matter. But I mean, I agree. You do supposed to have like some things in common, things that you can, talk about, and of course, and all that. But to just eliminate somebody completely just based off of something as superficial as because they want to eat some lamb, like
Mm.
that, yeah, that there's a big difference in preference and vibration and frequency, in my opinion.
Indeed. All right, family. We are hitting the hour mark. I want to get to a few questions from the family. Yaya got the chat booming. I see y'all talking a lot in the chat. Give me a couple of questions for Yaya. Once again, shout out to King Simon sharing Yaya's links in the chat. What's that's your website, ubotanica.shop?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so what do you have on your site while we wait for the questions, Yaya?
So I do spiritual consultations. I do body mapping. I do palm readings. I sell herbs. I sell Florida water. Um, I used to sell candles, but not right now. I just sell a lot of different spiritual tools that, a lot of us use: sage, so many different things. I have different tapestries, so many things. It's so many treats in there. So y'all go take a look when you get a chance. But most of it is a lot of the services that I offer.
Dope, fire. Let's once again shout out to King Simon. And once again, if you're coming in late, I see we almost at 2,000 in the chat. Yaya will be at Stone Mountain this Saturday in Stone Mountain, Georgia. We are linking up at 5:44 a.m. in the morning. I'm gonna put we were sharing all the flyers yesterday. I'm gonna put the information in the description. King Simon, share the exact address to Stone Mountain in the chat. I think it's 1,000 Robert E. Lee Boulevard or something. King Simon, please share the exact address to Stone Mountain and the meetup time for me, my brother. And I'm gonna post that in the chat. All right, let's get to some questions. Make sure you'll support Yaya's website as well as her Instagram. It is popping. I'm telling you, like, she's tapped in and she posts a lot of. I'm not on there a lot, but when I'm on there, I make sure I hit up her page to see what she's talking about, because she got it, she got it popping on there. Let's get to a couple of questions in the chat real quick. I see okay. They want to know the game, Yaya. What are signs of jealous people? They want you to give them. They want you to give them the game, Yaya. Give them the game.
So, signs of jealous people, okay? Especially if these are people that are around you, that's always around you. Like I was talking about in that video where they always say things like, must be nice. They'll say something like, you'll tell them something and instead of congratulating you, they'll say, oh, that must be nice. Or they'll say subtle things like, couldn't be me, or, it's the little sly things that they say. It's the eye rolls that they give. It's the energy that you feel around them. It's the hesitation that you get when you give them certain, great news from you. Like, you can feel when these people aren't really for you for real. Again, pay attention to how you feel. A lot of times we feel it, but then we start questioning it, like, is it me? No, most of the time it's not you. It's literally your spirit telling you, like, hey, pay attention to this person, but then you keep brushing it off. So again, those subtle eye rolls, a lot of times their jealousy, their envy comes through as jokes. Like, as jokes. I promise you, every time I've had a situation where I've noticed somebody was trying to be funny with me, I noticed that it always started out with jokes. So that's why I don't allow people to be like, to say certain things to me, even in a joking manner, because that's how it starts. So pay attention to how they try to joke with you. If you feel uneasy about it, there's a reason why. So the signs of jealousy are always there. We just gotta open your eyes, guard your heart, and pay attention, because they always gonna show you.
Oh yeah, they're gonna show. They can't hide it.
Not for too long.
They gotta let that shit out, man. Yo, I seen something on the internet that was hilarious, and I was like, yo, that shit is so true. And I want to ask you, what does what I'm about to describe say about the personality? Because let's say we're talking about energies, feminine energy and masculine energy. What does this scenario say about the energy traits or the personality of a masculine energy and the personality of a feminine energy? And what you just said about jokes being disguised as, hey, just reminded me of it. So with dudes, let's say we're gonna start with dudes, So with dudes, a dude can see his boy, he'll insult his boy, and through insulting his boy, he's complimenting him. So give you an example, Yaya. This bitch ass nigga, you done came up. Oh, that car, this bitch ass nigga. Oh, this punk ass nigga that got a car. Oh, this motherfucker done came. Man, your little punk ass done got a car. Yo, that's what's up. Woman. Okay, so let me just say, men insult another dude by he compliment him by insulting him. Woman will compliment you, will insult you by complimenting you. Let me the opposite. Let me say, you pull up in the same car that the dude pull up in front of his boy. Oh, that's nice. Beautiful. Oh, you got a new little car.
New
It'll
little
be
car.
it's a whole different way of going about it. They will compliment you, but underneath the compliment is insults.
Yep.
A dude will insult you. Underneath the insult is a compliment. It was the funniest shit. I done seen this shit happen so many times.
It's
What
so
does that
true.
say about the masculine and the feminine approach to certain things in life?
It says that women are more sneaky with it. Like they try to be on the sly, right?
Yeah.
And then men now men are different. Men are funny because I swear I've grown up with men just like that my whole life.
Yeah.
And some of them are not malicious. Like that's like how they talk. But again, that's a part of the programming. Like that's a big part of programming because a lot of people think that that's cool, right? That's how you talk. That's my brother. We could talk like that. We could play like that. But that's still programming because you don't know how you making that other person feel, even if you might not have malicious intent. But as far as women, I could say because I'm a woman, women are very sly and sneaky with it. Like, you know, they try to be funny. Like you said, oh, that's nice. Or I like your little car. Like, why you got to put the little in front of you? Why my car? Like, you know, and then men are just more direct with it. But also, you know, they try to put that joke on there. So it's funny in how we do things differently, but it's still shady on both parts, you know.
Right.
The shade there. And then also pay attention to those friends, right? This is a big one. Like, you know how you go around like different groups of men. Like, let's say you have your girlfriends or your homeboys, and y'all go around a group of men or women.
Mm-hmm.
When your friends start trying to act funny in front of those men, like for women, if you're around your group of friends and they start acting differently because you're around men, you already know what time it is. Like you already know they will literally do any and everything against you for attention of those men. So you got to pay attention to that. And the same goes with the men because they do the same exact thing. They start trying to be funny or say different disrespectful things to their friends or homeboys in front of these women trying to get some shine or whatever the case may be. But that's another big telltale sign. Like when they start acting different in front of different groups of people, you already know what's up.
Indeed. For those who wanted the exact address, it's on the screen. King Simon is sharing it. Thank you, King. 1000 Robert E. Lee Boulevard. This is June 28th, family, 5:44 a.m. Once again, if you're coming in late, Yaya will be there at Stone Mountain. So many people will be there. I can't even say all the names. Vicky Dillard, 19 Keys, Billy Carson, Dr. B Serious, just to name a few. The list goes on and on, family. But it's going to be an amazing event, gathering of gods and goddesses. Make sure you are there, family. Let's keep this thing going with a couple of more a couple of more questions before we get out of here. Somebody said, all right, now I hear this question a lot, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do when people deliberately harm you spiritually or your mama?
Ooh,
sibling. That's more common than people think, yeah.
It is. It honestly, that's where a lot of people are experiencing it right now. Based off of when I meet with people, I'm like, whoa, all this going on, but we got to remember the times that we in the family dynamic is being shaken. And I know a lot of people have probably been dealing with this their whole lives with their parents or siblings, but how you deal with it as far as you talking about the envy and jealousy, I don't. Like it's just as simple as that. I think a lot of people get hung up on titles, and I'm just not big on it. Like I feel like if you are, if you crossing my boundaries in any way, if you making me uncomfortable, if I notice any sign of trying to be funny or jealousy or anything like that, I just eliminate that energy. I don't want it around me. I don't care who you are.
Even your mama? Yeah. Even your mama?
Listen, if my mama was to behave like that, yes, absolutely. Because we talking about energy and frequency now. So a lot of people put themselves in situations and deal with things. And remember, everything is a choice. Keep dealing with things because of a title. And it's just, okay, if you eliminate all that, then you don't have to deal with that anymore. And again, it's hard for people because you're thinking about it from a sense of, that's my mama, that's my sister, But yes, that's your mama, that's your sister, that's your whoever, but they still interrupting your peace. They causing chaos in your life. They making you uncomfortable. So that's what I do. I'm not telling y'all to do it. I'm just saying for me and at the place that I am in my life, when it comes to peace, when it comes to boundaries, and because I've done so much with self-love, I realize that I'm the one who I need to take care of. And if you are not coming in adding value to my life in any
Mm,
kind of way, if you
mm,
coming in interrupting my peace in any kind of way, you gotta go. I
mm.
don't care who you are.
All right, all right. Let's keep this thing going. Yeah, yeah. All right, brother wants to know, yeah, straight up. How can a man tap into divine feminine energy within?
Oh, I love that.
Mm,
We was talking about it a little earlier, getting more in tune with that emotional side, not being afraid to, express those emotions, um, tapping into your creativity, because when we in our creative energy, our flow, our divine feminine, that's where that creativity comes from. So start doing things that you enjoy, start creating different things, start doing things with your hands, or whatever it is that you feel like is your gift, because we all have our own divine gifts that we have to tap more into that. um start communicating with the divine feminines in your life, right? And start interacting differently if you feel like you need to do so, if you're not interacting with them in a way that you should right now. But pull off of them and learn from the divine feminine if you have an example of a divine feminine in your life, because not a lot of women are not even in their divine feminine. So
mm,
just tap into people who you see that are tapped into that, like balance the energy. So that looks like your logical mind, of course, as your masculine side. I'm sure you have that, but it's time to tap more into the emotional side. So not being afraid to be vulnerable, not being afraid to cry, like we talked about.
mm.
um so yeah, that's how you can tap in with nature. When I'm in nature, I get a lot of, my feminine energy flows.
Mm.
Like to dance, my feminine energy flows when I'm moving my hips. Men can move their hips too, so it's
Mhm.
a lot of different things that you could do to get into your divine feminine energy, but definitely tap into that creativity.
All right, all right. Let's get to the next question. Let me see. Where is this? Okay. They want to know, how do you know when you're on the right frequency with someone? Yeah, yeah.
You're gonna feel it, like it. That y'all know the feeling you get.
Mhm,
Some people feel or experience butterflies. I guess that's how they
mhm,
explain it. And not saying that when you get the feeling where you think about somebody constantly all day, because sometimes that's not healthy. But it's that feeling where you feel good, like this person doesn't irritate your soul. You don't have a second guessing about them. It's just like you feel like you can vibe with this person, be open with them. You know, a lot of times when you're on the same frequency, y'all start finishing each other's sentences. You just become connected or in tune with one another so much that it's undeniable, really. And y'all know what I'm talking about. You've encountered those kind of people where you've on the same frequency, whether this be intimate relationship or friendship. You have those people who you can connect with, and you like, man, we just vibe so well. Like it's that feeling that you get. You are going to know, and I'm sure a lot of y'all have felt it before, but
mhm,
recognize that feeling, because remember I told you, every single time your body is going to give you a cue. Your body's going to tell you something. Like for instance, me, when I was talking to or engaging with somebody that I wasn't supposed to be, I kept getting, like every week I was getting sick.
mm.
Like kept getting sick. So I had to pay attention to that. Like maybe we're not on the same frequency. But if I'm on the same frequency with somebody who I'm really vibing with, that's not gonna happen. Like it won't happen, because you guys are so aligned and in tune. So you're gonna know. It's a feeling that you get, and it's undeniable.
I usually wait for that feeling, yeah, yeah. A lot of times before bringing a new guest on the show, I'll
Oh,
get a certain feeling from one, like a certain vibe. And sometimes people would want to be on the show, and I'll just be like, a lot of people, a lot of people want to be on the channel, to blow up their business and shit like that. And I
yeah.
just be like, damn, I don't, the vibe ain't there. You know, and people will recommend, yo, cause so and so, and I just be like, damn, the vibe ain't there. And like just for example, watching you, I seen Yaya on TikTok, and I'm like, yo, there's something about that. Damn, I kept watching the videos, and then probably like by the fourth video, so yet, and I'm like, why did I think of that? I say, but I tell you, because you was on TikTok, I don't know why I thought that, you know, TikTok was a whole nother dimension. But I'm
Right.
like, you know, then I see you was on Instagram, so I think that's when I DM'd you on Instagram. But I got the same feeling I got when I seen your videos. Was the
Right.
same video I got when I seen Yaki, Dr. Be Serious, and the list goes on and on. It's just a feeling,
Right.
an undescribable feeling that you get inside. But I know how to pinpoint that feeling when I get it
Right.
a lot of times. So yeah, just wanted to give y'all an example real quick. Let's get to this dude. I don't want to keep Yaya too long tonight. Let's get to about 3 more questions and then we're gonna get out of here. Somebody just asked, okay, the same dude asked, damn. Wait, hold up. Same dude wants to know, sister, how do you handle a frequency drainer when it's your kid?
Ooh.
Yeah, they're asking them real deal questions tonight, Yaya. Your kid,
Ooh.
mama. Yeah, I mean, god damn it.
Damn, the kids.
Man.
I get it, cause boy, they will drain you if you let them. It depends now how young we talking, cause you know, if these are grown kids, it's a whole different conversation we need to have. But if these are kids, of course, you still have to tend to and take care of. First of all, the boundary setting, because there has to be boundaries put in place. Like there are certain things for me myself when I come in my room. Everybody know, don't knock on my door, don't come in here. That's me time. Like you have to put certain things in place so that you can remove yourself, get in a place of solitude, release whatever energies you need to release, replenish yourself, recharge, all of those things. So like I said, if this is a younger child, then of course you have to tend to them and still be there for them, but set those boundaries early as you can. And then also just pinpoint like where this is coming from with your child. Like why does this child have this specific energy? Are there different traumas? Like are there traumas that need to be healed? You know, are they acting out? If they are acting out, what's the reason behind it? Like you got to get to the root of whatever is going on that's making this child drain you. But ultimately setting those boundaries and finding a place of solitude so you can replenish and recharge yourself, because that's very important. I think as parents, we don't do that enough. I think we feel guilty for it, but you have to have your time. And I know some people, they don't have, you know, a support system where they can get a break.
Mm-hmm.
Create that for yourself in your own home if you have to. Like
Right.
it's a must. It's a
Mm-hmm.
must. We all need our own solitude. We all
Mm-hmm.
need to recharge. So that's my suggestion. Like I said, depending on how young they are. Now, if these are grown kids, again, that's a whole nother conversation. If they interrupting your peace, especially if they out on their own, doing their own thing, living their own life,
Yeah.
go about your business. Go on now, because they have their own life. They are grown. You got them to the point of where they needed to be. So, people can't do anything to you unless you allow them to. Whether that be your children, your mother, your father, it doesn't matter. Your kids, at some point you have to put boundaries in place and stand on business. And that's what I was talking about as far as the heart-led people. We standing on business now. So literally about standing on business, releasing that fear and learning how to speak. Open that throat chakra.
All right, all right. Excellent answer. Let's get to the next. Where's this at? I just seen the one I want to ask. Okay, yeah. Hey family, can you please ask the Queen Yaya what body mapping consists of? What exactly?
Yeah, so body mapping. So for instance, like when I was talking about the moles, birthmarks, gray hair, you know, different things on our bodies that tell us a story about ourselves. Um, so for instance, like for me, I didn't get a mole on my lip. And it's funny, I used to draw a mole on my lip, show you about manifestation. When I was younger, I used to always draw a mole on my lip. Years later, fast forward, now I have one. But this mole didn't appear until I cleared my throat chakra and started speaking. So for body mapping, this mole tells me that I am a I'm a master manifester.
Mm.
A lot of us are, right?
Mm.
But if you have a mole like near your eye or on your eye, like for instance, I have some right here, that means that you are clairvoyant. Most likely you have psychic abilities. So it just tells you a lot about yourself, your gifts, your past life. So yeah, it's very interesting. Again, the gray hairs also tell a story. Palms tell a story. The palm reading that I do is kind of separate from the body mapping, but yeah, the body mapping is more so just about moles, birthmarks, different marks on your body.
All right, all right. Let's get to damn. I banned somebody by accident. Somebody was spamming the chat. I'm sorry, Lucinda. I banned somebody by accident. You was spamming the chat. I didn't mean to ban you. I'm gonna try to see if I can fix that. Let's get to the next question, which is somebody wanted to know: can lower entities feed off your energy in dreams?
Oh yeah, absolutely. If you let them, for sure. Um, there are absolutely lower level entities that will feed off of you. I know, like one instance that I can think about is I always used to hear when I was younger, never eat in a dream. Like you never like eat food or take food from anybody in a dream.
Mm.
Because a lot of times they're trying to exchange that food or whatever for your energy. So um also when you astral travel, a lot of people don't know, but you can bring back those lower level entities with you, and a lot of people do. So that's why it's important to make sure that you have, you have the right protection for you, especially if you astral travel a lot, because again, you're going into the spiritual world, and with that comes different energies. Not all of them are light.
Mm.
So again, this goes back to if you're vulnerable, if you're too open, if you left unguarded, then of course these energies are going to attract to you and attach to you. So you have to learn how to guard yourself, protect yourself, especially in the dream world. So yeah, it's absolutely possible, and it happens.
All right, all right. Let's get to there's some good games she giving y'all tonight, y'all. Let's get to I'm gonna do one more before we get out of here. Give me 1 second. Somebody wants to know. Wait, give me a second. How do you manage spiritual protection with vetted partners who has changed with this current administration?
How do you manage spiritual protection? So are you asking if you have a partner that's vetted? Are you asking about your specific partner?
I
Because I
think
know you're with the current administration. Or are you talking about in the politics world?
I think she's talking about, or whoever's talking about, a specific partner.
So manage spiritual protection. So do you? I think I need a little bit more
Like,
context.
like, let's say, let me see if, wait. Let's say, let me just give an example. Yeah, I think of what they talking about. Let's say you've been with a dude for 8 years. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but all of a sudden, in the last 2 years, this dude done turned into a huge MAGA supporter, and he's like going hard with MAGA, and you like, what the hell happened to this dude? Ever since Trump came around, now this dude is down with MAGA. Like, how she want to know how would you manage that spiritual protection?
Now, that's interesting.
Yeah, he switched up. Somebody said he switched up. Yeah, he switched up. Yeah.
Switched up. Let's go back to frequencies though. Like a lot of people's frequencies are changing. So it just depends on how far they going with it, I would say, because
Okay.
some of them MAGA supporters, they've been going to the extreme lately, right? But if they just throwing out their opinions about it, you know what I'm saying, like they just in support of it, then that comes down to preference. Like,
Mm.
that's up to you whether you want to still vibe with that person that's pretty much not on the same page as you politically, like, because that's what it boils down to. That's like political preference. But that still boils down to preference, but also is now leading into frequency depending on how they're behaving. Because again, a lot of these people that that are MAGA supporters, they go into the extreme with some of the things that they're doing and saying. So now you get to kind of see what their heart is like, right? Based off of how they're acting at during these times with this current administration. So if your partner is acting completely different, talking maliciously, saying things that is not aligned with like where y'all were, then again, that's a frequency shift. That's a change. And now you have to make a decision like, do I want to continue dealing with this person? Because now our frequencies have shifted. But if it's just something, subtle where they just like, I don't mind whatever Trump doing. That's more so preference.
Mm-hmm.
So you just got to make sure, are the frequencies different or are we talking about preference? So that's why it was important to know the difference.
Got you. Yeah, we talked about Ashanti. We talked about that earlier, the difference between frequency, somebody's frequency and their preference. So yeah, that was a good way to elaborate on that one earlier. So the last question, I'm gonna give my brother King Simon the last question. If you have the same last name, are you connected energetically?
Whew. I don't believe that. I don't believe that. Especially being that these names, these not even our real names. First of all, names was given to us. Because even thinking about my name right now, like thinking about my last name, that's associated with them slave names, So as far as being energetically connected, especially when you're married, like, when people get married, of course they're energetically connected, but just not based off of the name solely. That's more so based off of the vows that they've done, them binding spells that they've done, the sacred energy exchange, all of those things. But for me, as far as name goes, absolutely not. Because I know a lot of people with my same name, and I know we ain't energetically connected, tied, the same, none of that.
Right. No,
So,
indeed. Thanks for that question, King. I like that question, King. Thanks for that question. Yaya, once again, an awesome, amazing show. I want to thank you for coming on the platform once again. I know the people absolutely loved it tonight. Like I said, you had the chat booming the whole hour and a half. They having a good time. Please tell the people, Yaya, how can they contact you for some of your products or services?
yeah, so you can head to my website, ubotanica.shop, for any of my services that you want to book. If you want to contact me, you can contact me via my email, ubotanica111@gmail.com. And I will definitely get back to you guys. But all of my information can be found in the bio of any of my social media sites. So, yeah, if you guys want to book, I am more than happy to work with you guys.
All right. With that being said, I can't wait to see you this Saturday, Stone Mountain family, 5:44 a.m. Thanks once again, Yaya, and I will see you Saturday, Queen.
Absolutely, and I'm gonna promote it for sure. So I'll
Thank
see
you.
you then.
Appreciate it. All right, peace.
Have a good one.
Great separation.
Hold up, family. All right. Tomorrow I won't be live. I'm doing a Patreon with Billy Carson and Rod Hayes. So if you're not signed up to Patreon, make sure you sign up to Patreon. I will be doing that, and that will be on Patreon. I don't know if we're gonna do a live. We're gonna be filming it tomorrow, but I don't know if I'm gonna make it live or not. I probably just upload it tomorrow night. But with that being said, family, awesome show. I'm gonna be doing that Thursday. I'm not sure who I'm gonna have on, but once again, family, we will be at Stone Mountain. Hold up. We will be at Stone Mountain this Saturday. King Simon's been posting information in the chat for that. With that being said, thanks for tuning in, family. This is Brother Rich. I'm signing out. I will see y'all. If you're on Patreon, I'll see you tomorrow. But if not, I will see you probably Thursday. It's gonna be awesome. We're gonna be dealing with the Macabre light body tomorrow. Billy Carson and Rod Hayes got some great information on that, some great questions to ask them. So make sure you'll be a part of that show and that and a part of the Patreon. Have a good night, everybody. Peace and blessings.